Hey there all craft cider lovers. Very much welcome to another review. Time to pack the old bags and go to Sweden. Down south in the region of Skåne to Malmö, back to Fruktstereo, or Fruktstereo in English translation. And well, I said welcome craft cider lovers, but this is not technically a cider that we're going to take a look at tonight. Fruktstereo, and this is their Plumenian Rhapsody with this lovely looking artwork. There you go, guys. Big 750 milliliter bottle on this one. 2020 edition. And this is actually not, as I said, technically a cider, but a sparkling fruit wine, or a pet nut, as they say in France, or a pétillant naturel, naturally sparkling. This one is made out of 65% apples, Kim and aroma, 30% plums, opal, Victoria and wild plums, and 5% grapes, Rondo. And it says there's a full disclosure there, guys. Let's see here. It's a full disclosure with everything here. The apples are from Axelstorp, a traditional orchard in northwest Skåne, planted in 1940s and today managed without pesticides or herbicides by Magnus Fävike Nilsson. The plums are from Solberga in Dalby, an abandoned traditional orchard close to Malmö. And the grapes are from Klagshamn and Hellåkra, both local grape farmers with a natural growing approach. Fermented with indigenous yeast, unfiltered and without additives, apples and plums were co-fermented for 1 month. Store upright, blah blah, contains sulfites and natural sediments. 6% ABV, guys. And that artwork is absolutely outstanding. A little bit of a nod there to Bohemian Rhapsody. So Fruktstereo also doing a lot of these kind of nods to the music business, to Beatles and different music groups. There you go. Black bottle cap on this one, guys. Let's give it a pop, see what we get here. So yeah, not technically a cider, but I'd rather a fruit wine. Oh my goodness me. There you go. Very sparkling, very, very energetic bubbles. Right, I should have poured this into a wine glass perhaps. But for me, guys, it's not far from a cider either, to be honest. Look at that. So, I mean, 65% of this contents here are apples, 35% or 30% rather, plums, and 5% grapes. So not much in the way of wine, because wine is made out of grapes, right? And this is mostly apples, to be fair. Lovely color to it, lovely kind of ruby red color, nice sparkling. You can hear it hissing and fizzing onto the nose. See what we get. I'm excited. The first thing that really strikes me here is a big funky aroma. Astringent, funky, very funky. There is a slight fruity element lurking about in the background, but let me tell you guys, it's nothing that kind of really stands out. It's more about a big funky aroma. Lot of funk, slight fruity background. I think we will just have to dive in and see what this one brings to the table. Plumenian Rhapsody 2020. Cheers. Oh, that's funky and acidic. Let me tell ya, this is not something that you will play around with. Oh, my goodness me. This is funky and astringent and at the same time highly acidic. I'm on it, guys. I'm on it. Bear with me. Let's go for a second sip here. Oh. Complexity in a glass. Complexity in a glass and a complexity in a bottle. Let me tell you, right away, right off the bat, highly funky, highly acidic, lots of vinegar notes in here. Little bit of apples and fruits. Hard to distinguish. I would say don't really get much of those plums, but I rather do get more of the grapes. And that's kind of odd, isn't it? Because it's only 5% of the contents are grapes. So that's really, really interesting. It is super acidic, highly vinegary, lot of vinegar notes to this one. It's very, very complex, guys. It's super complex. And that, look at that, it's very, very sparkling, of course. A pet nut, petit naturel, a natural sparkling fruit wine. Let's go for the final sip, guys. Okay, so for me, this is certainly very, very different. It is very well made, highly acidic, lots and lots of vinegar notes, red apples and grapes. Don't really get much of those plums, to be fair. This is not for new beginners, guys, and I don't mean that in a kind of a negative way, because I mean, we're all beginners, at the very first steps we take into the craft beer or the craft cider business or the craft cider game. We're all beginners, taking our first steps. But I mean, I would not recommend this one for someone who has just started taking their first steps, with craft cider or anything like that. And if they're interested in these types of beverages, ciders, fruit wines, pet nuts, and what have you. This is highly, highly complex. But I mean, if you have tried a few ciders, if you have gotten used to kind of funky ciders, funky wines, try it out. It's challenging for your taste buds. Plumenian Rhapsody, guys, from Fruktstereo, 6.5% I think it was. No, 6%, sorry. 6% ABV. So it's not a big ABV, although this is described as a wine, or a pet nut, rather. So let's stick to the terminology here. Highly complex, a lot of vinegar notes, a little bit of grapes, a little bit of red apples, very, very acidic. For me, guys, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Very, very nice, but it is highly challenging. But we need that sometimes, right? Thank you for watching.